Autobots, roll out!
Let's take a look at what happens when your computer boots up. When you turn on your computer, the power supply sends power to the motherboard, which in turn activates the boot process. The power self-on test post instruction, which are stored in ROM, a read-only memory chip, as a part of the BIOS or the basic input-output system. The post runs through a series of tests to make sure everything is working. Most post sequence will have a combination of audible and visual messages to let you know what is and isn't working. These are beeps that you generally hear when your computer is booting up. The post checks your video card. At that point, you will see informations from the post on the screen. The post then checks to make sure it can find the CPU and that is communicating. Then it tests your RAM, random access memory. This is a very basic check of whether it can communicate with your RAM. Now it checks for the keyboard and mouse depending on your type of keyboard you have. You might see the back keyboard slightly splash at this point. You would normally see indicator on the screen of how you can enter the BIOS setup program on your computer each time you boot up. The BIOS setup program can be accessed by different keystrokes depending on your software vendor, but it is often either F2, F10 or the delete key. This vendor's key is F2. After you enter the BIOS setup program, you can see forensic information including date, time information and booting order. Your computer can be set up to boot from your hard drive first, or even your CD or your USB, or even from your network. Most computers are set up to check optical drive first. This makes it easier to install new operating systems. Then they check the very first hard drive, drive 0. Post is looking for master boot record. The master boot record is always at cylinder 0, head 0 and sector 1. It points to the boot sector. Finally, the post is done and the operating system takes over the rest of the work and after the computer is boot up.